Wubba dubba dub, is that true?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Jay from Big Shark Gaming.
I always go first.
You're supposed to go when we start the video.
Hi, I'm Jojo from Big Shark Gaming, and I'm here with...
Jay from Big Shark Gaming, who already introduced himself.
And today we're going to be talking about Borderlands The Presequel. The game came out, what? October 4th?
Yes, I believe so.
October 4th? No, we're lying. October 16th.
I don't remember.
It was October 16th, because I remember it came out a week before Bayonetta 2. So yeah, they came out October 16th for the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, as well as PC and Mac, I think, or Linux, whatever they are.
Not Nintendo.
And Steam. But the Borderlands Presequel takes place in between Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2. Just know that this Reviewcast is going to have some spoilers to the game. There's no way to talk about it without a spoiler in the game.
Yeah.
And it's been almost a month since the game came out now, so I figured everyone who's already picked up the
game
has beaten the game. So Jay, tell us a little bit something about well, don't move. He had a really long eyelash. Eyebrow, whatever that thing is. Sorry guys, he had a really long eyebrow and it was bothering me when I turned to look at him. OCD. Yeah, so tell us a thing or two about the prequel that people should know about the game.
Alright, so a lot of the familiar characters like Dr. Zed, Marcus, and them, they're referenced in the game, but they're not really there. They're replaced with new characters, obviously, because the game doesn't take place on Pandora. It takes place on Elpis and Helios and these other space places.
Helios, by the way, Helios is the name of the station that's shaped like an H that's on the moon of Pandora.
And Elpis is the moon itself.
Yeah. So, in this game, instead of it being Hyperion in charge, it's Dal. So, everybody who's already on the space station, Helios, is pretty much working for Dal. It's kind of like, Helios is kind of like really, I mean, no, not Helios, Hyperion is really small in this game.
Right, it hasn't been up and coming yet. They're still manufacturing guns. Hyperion is still a company manufacturing guns. But the new U station is all run by Dal. The O2 kits are all made by Dal. The arena is run by Dal.
And like, this game, it kind of like goes into the backstory of how Handsome Jack became who he is,
how he came into power,
why he has the vault symbol embedded in his face, why he wanted to awaken the warrior,
how he even knew about all of it.
This guy, by the way, I won this shirt a while back. I posted it on Instagram maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. I won this shirt in a Borderlands contest, so I want to say thank you to Gearbox and 2K for sending me this awesome Handsome Jack shirt that I felt was 100% appropriate for this Reviewcast.
My shirt is blue with a stripe.
But that little side step away. So yeah, in this game you play as Athena, the gladiator,
Nisha, the lawbringer,
Wilhelm, the enforcer,
and a claptrap.
Yeah. And it's pretty much chaos. I played as Nisha the first time through,
and I played as Athena.
And so we're gonna do a little bit of a character review separately. I'm gonna do Nisha's character review in a text post.
And I will be doing the same thing with Athena,
because there's some things you need to know about the characters. There's like a lot of like variations to the characters, as always there is,
because there's so many skill trees to take.
One problem I had, I'm gonna talk about a little bit here with Nisha, is ammo consumption. She is a beast. Her DPS is crazy. She might be the hardest hitting character in all of Borderlands Saga, maybe except Salvador. I think Salvador might have her a little bit beat, but Nisha, I think, is overall maybe the most DPS per second.
DPS per second?
Well, DPS. Shut up, Jay. Don't judge. Schnoz is here. Don't judge.
RPG game.
Yeah. Yeah. So over the course of the game, it's typical Borderlands fashion where you go and you have your story missions and you have your side missions. In this game, I think there's 53 side missions
As of now.
as of now. Yeah, we got a DLC coming out November 11th, the Doppelganger Jack, which people are kind of mad about, and I don't understand why. Because
We'll get into that in a
perfect
little bit.
sense. But through the course of the game, you go back and forth between Helios and Elpis, where you find out there's new monsters called Kragans, Raphids, Sluggerith. Scav is still a thing. Scav is kind of like the bandits on the moon. And through the process, you find out some things that happened in Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2.
Right.
And obviously, everybody was kind of disappointed with Borderlands 1. The ending of Borderlands 1 was super anticlimactic.
And Gearbox makes fun of that.
And Gearbox made fun of that in Borderlands 2. But I feel that they did a great job
linking up the two games.
because Borderlands 1 at the end, you were like, okay, what the fuck? And Borderlands 2, you're kind of just, because it takes place 3 years after. Sorry, I have like the hiccups right now. I'm trying to not hiccup. But Borderlands 2 takes 3 years after the first one. And there's a lot of things that happen in between. You're like, wait, but that doesn't make sense. Why is it like that? Who's Handsome Jack? Who's this? You know.
And this game does a great job of linking up everything, filling in those holes.
Yeah, I personally think that this game was really, really well written. And credits to Anthony Birch and his crew for writing this story. Because it's still as clever and humorous as ever. There's a lot of, like, funny parodies in it. There's still a million Easter eggs, such as the Super Mario one, the Buzz Lightyear one, the Daft Punk one, a million other things. But it takes place after what was called the Kraganing.
Which is when they started first drilling into Elpis.
And it released, like, Kragans, which are, like, these awesome dragon things.
They're kind of like Skags.
Yeah, they're their game's variant of Skags, except they're a lot cooler, in my opinion. They even have, like, the same sideways mouth thing. But the game's a lot shorter, I think, than Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, because it's a little bit more linear. There's still a lot of side quests to do. I think maybe we load up the game, like, 10 times, 11 times before we finished all the side quests?
I think so, yeah.
So you could get it done relatively quickly on Vault Hunter mode. And then, of course, there's True Vault Hunter mode for when you beat the game.
New Game Plus.
But level cap's still 50. Personally, the best thing I like about this game is how much things happened. And you're like, oh, shit, that makes sense now. Oh, shit, that makes sense now. But, like, and this is the first time after a Borderlands game where I wasn't, like, scratching my head like, wait a minute, this was never explained. And it all starts off with you're in Sanctuary, and Athena is tied up to a pole,
and Lilith is like questioning her.
Yeah, it's like a few like
Crimson.
Lance? I don't think they're Crimsons. I think they're just people around Sanctuary.
I forget what Roland's people were called.
They were
like when he because I know he made a new faction in Borderlands 2. Like the Crimson, I think it was the Crimson Raiders.
Maybe, I don't remember. It's been a while. But yeah, there's a few like soldiers standing around. They all have guns pointed at Athena, and
she's tied up at a stake.
And then Athena is telling her story about what happened. So the game actually isn't really taking place as you're playing it. It's kind of like Athena's telling the story of the game.
Right.
And the main antagonist of this game is Zarpedon,
Colonel T. Zarpedon,
who is alongside this giant red guardian. Yes, guardians are back in this game. And she found the vault. And Handsome Jack didn't know that the vault was open. And he's kind of just like trying to... He's kind of like playing, like really playing a hero in this game. So it's kind of like he's not really an antagonist. He's kind of like a protagonist in the sense that
he's trying to
stop Zarpedon from blowing up the moon.
Because he doesn't know why she's doing it.
Yeah, and midway through the game, Jack gets his first kill, where he kills the character called the Merif, and that's when he starts like first like slipping. Like he kind of emphasizes how great the kill felt to him.
Right.
And you can tell like he's starting to lose his grasp on sanity, and which fully comes to a boil when you're in the veins of Helios, which is a again, the space station, and you find out that he had taken the eye from the destroyer from Borderlands 1,
and that's what's making
the laser from Helios
Helios.
that's destroying the moon. Lilith and Jack are in it for some reason. Lilith and Roland are in it for some reason. They're in Moxie's pub, and they play a huge role in this game, actually. Which it's kind of funny because you're sitting there like, wait a minute.
If Lilith is helping us...
Yeah, they're kind of like, Lilith and Roland were kind of helping us, as well as Moxie. But then, at the end, once, like, Jack gets his hands on a vault, this big throne comes out from underneath him, and he's having, like, these flash-forward memories, kind of like Magneto X-Men-esque. Where, like, he's getting, like,
light
from Death Note.
They're getting, like, mind trips, everything that's happening in Borderlands 2. He's like, I understand now. This is what I gotta do to help save Pandora.
Yeah, but in his own, like, psychotic frenzy of this is what I have to do to save Pandora, and he, like, genuinely thinks that this is his calling. Pandora. And it shows the warrior.
It shows Angel.
It shows Angel. It shows, like, the Iridian and the Skag. What else? But then, like, the reason why he has a scar is because the vault symbol was sitting in front of him,
and that's what
he was sitting on the throne, and that was giving him the memories. And Lilith comes out of nowhere and punches it into his face
with her phoenix,
and so it kind of like burned into his face. And she thought that had killed him, but obviously it didn't because he was still alive in the second one. But that's why he wears the mask. At the end, he does fully take over Dal. He makes it into Hyperion, and he kills Tassiter.
I believe it's Tassiter, yeah.
So
the original, like, owner of Hyperion, like the big boss.
Yeah, who was trying to get Jack fired for his work on Pandora. So there is references to being on Pandora so far in the game. So Jay, let's talk a little about some of your favorite moments in this game.
Okay. I'm gonna talk mainly about. I'm gonna jump back to what you're saying about Athena at the stake. Throughout the story, like, you go back, like, it references back to Lilith talking to Athena in present day, back in Sanctuary. And it's like, that's like a narrative. But when you're on True Vault Hunter mode, Tina asks Athena to tell the story again, and Brick is standing there with her. So the narrative, instead of being between Lilith and Athena again, now it's between Tiny Tina, Brick, and Athena. And that changes the narrative a little bit, and I think that's a nice little interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool because, like, and they even reference it. They're just like, oh, really? They're gonna make it like she's telling the story again, but Lilith is standing right there. And they even say, while Lilith is dealing with that giant red guardian thing, we have a lot of free time, so if you guys could just tell the story again, and you can tell Athena is like having like, gah, and the reason why the enemies' names are different is because Brick asked her to change the name of the enemies. Like, you know how, like, Borderlands, when you're on hard difficulty, instead of it being, like...
Psycho, it's a lunatic.
Yeah, instead of it being, like, a Kragan, it's, like, a reinforced Kragan. And so, like, that explains why the enemies' names are different. But I thought it was really cool how, like, Athena was telling a story. And I like how, towards the end of the game, everyone was so done with Jack already. Like, they were just like, man, this fucking guy's a lunatic. I'm so done working with him.
Like, Athena leaves. I think in the end, the only ones that stay are Nisha and Wilhelm. Because Nisha...
Oh, yeah, Nisha stays with him, but then eventually leaves and joins Lynchwood.
And then Wilhelm obviously stays
with him.
Yeah,
Wilhelm stays with him until he dies in Borderlands 2, when he's fully a robot at that point.
Right. That's another thing I think is interesting. We didn't really play as Wilhelm. But according to what some things that Gearbox has told us, that as you play Wilhelm, when you develop some of his skills, you can actually see him slowly become a cyborg.
Like, yeah, he gets like an augmented laser cannon, and like he gets like rocket robot legs and stuff like that.
Like, you can actually see him change into the Wilhelm boss.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I like how one of Claptrap's custom skins is Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah.
He's just like this garbage can, which is pretty cool. But the ending, this is the first time that, like, a Borderlands ending left me really, really waiting for the next one.
Right.
I thought, like, Borderlands 2's ending was fine. I was just like, wow, that was okay. But the ending to this game when, because in the beginning of the game, when you see the Red Guardian, you're like, oh, fuck, that thing is kind of creepy. And, you know, you're going through the game, and you just never, like,
you never really see it.
Yeah, and that was
It's never even really mentioned again.
That was the only time that like you see him, and then at the end when Lilith kind of gets trigger happy and she wants the guards to kill Athena, all of a sudden the bullets fall, and everyone's just like, "What the fuck?" And the giant red guardian shows up, and he's like,
"There's no time for fighting amongst yourselves. We're gonna need you all to work together."
And it's like war is coming, which is interesting because he says that you're gonna need all the Vault Hunters you could get, and out of all the Vault Hunters who you played as in the game, there's 4 in the first one, 6 in Borderlands 2, and 5 so far with Doppelganger hands back. Obviously, you can't play as Wilhelm,
and obviously you probably can't play as that.
So that's 15. So that's 14. That Claptrap obviously doesn't exist anymore.
Roland
so
dies.
That's 12. Roland dies, and that's 11. I wonder if you're going to be able to play
as all of them.
The only thing that left me a little bit disappointed in this game is that I thought we were going to be able to find out something about Zero.
And with the Guardians coming back, and
we did not. And because obviously everyone, has their theories about Zero being an Iridian warrior, and that's obviously like something that weighs heavy because like people have hacked the game and like found out that he has green skin,
and he only has 4 fingers.
Yeah, and
so he's clearly not. And going back to Borderlands 2, it's probably not even really anything anybody knows, but when you're running. Like, I noticed it with Maya, that sometimes she, like, have voice clips of her, like, trying to, like, catch her breath. Like, she's clearly fatiguing. And I think when we played with Pantera Queen, shout out, when she was playing as, what's-his-face, Axon. Yeah?
Yeah.
He would do it, too. But when I was playing alongside you, I noticed that Zero never really...
Yeah, Zero never fatigues.
Zero never really fatigued. So, obviously, his capabilities are beyond a human.
Yeah. But I was kind of like looking forward to like trying to find out something about Zero, especially since the game like started off with you getting like your echoes about why you were doing it. I thought maybe we would find out a little bit more about Borderlands 2 characters, but they're not even in the game at all.
No, they're not even really referenced at all either.
Which makes sense because they came to Pandora from somewhere else, and Jack left them to die. And I mentioned that in Borderlands 2, in the beginning of Borderlands 2, when you're talking to Claptrap.
On the train.
Yeah, but I mean, it would make perfect sense for me that Zero was still there, and
we just didn't know.
Yeah, we just didn't know about him. But that's something I could look over. But yeah, the ending was really cool, and I really can't wait to see what they do with Borderlands 3. There's so much potential for that game. I think now that like everything makes sense, and I thought that doing a pre-sequel was pretty smart because and the way they did it was smart,
right?
Because instead of having like point A and point B, which they already had with Borderlands 1 and 2, and drawing that line in between them, they did it like, instead of drawing a straight line, they kind of did like a parabola, where they kind of just like snaked it through and like connected the lines in like the longest fashionable way.
Because like it gives you insight about these other characters.
I think like the coolest part about it was that like they were like, this is point A, this is point B, and they were like, oh shit, went past the second one, and I came back to it.
Right. Like, so if you play, at one point you walk in on Moxie working on machinery, and she has a couple references to Ellie. Obviously, in the pre-sequel, Ellie isn't there.
Yeah, Ellie's not there yet. But neither is Scooter, and she says that like she'll have your son kill you.
Right. She references her kids, even though they're not in the pre-sequel.
I like how Torg is there, and his only role is like
to be there for narrative.
Yeah, be there for narrative and fuck things up for no apparent reason. Like he makes you blow up the laser weapons just because he hates laser weapons. And like laser weapons, by the way, are a new type of gun to the game, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just they shoot laser beams.
It's kind of like the E-Tech guns in a sense from Borderlands 2.
Not really.
Some of them behave. Some of them behave like the E-Tech guns do.
I don't think so.
You didn't really play E-Tech that much, though.
I know, but I played Borderlands 2 for a while enough to know that, like, what the E-Techs are going to do. But I don't think the lasers were too much like the E-Techs.
They're not too much like them, but they're similar-ish. In my opinion.
But, obviously laser weapons don't make it into Borderlands 2, and every now and then when you're on the loading screen, it says laser weapons didn't come up because of a story involving Marcus and a fork. A straw. And it's like, don't ask him.
Ever.
Yeah, so I guess we'll never, unless there's DLC explaining why. And yeah, laser weapons are pretty cool. There's one that's hidden in a stone called Excalibastard, which is obviously a King Arthur reference, and you get 2,500 badass points to get it. I'm so close to getting it. Yeah, we haven't played that much, to be honest, and we're only like level 35? 34, I think. 34, 35? So we haven't really played. We just started through Vault Hunter. There's been a lot of things going on with Big Shark that we haven't really had enough time. But yeah, and Cryo is a new element that we have in the game. We lose Skag because it's kind of in like production.
Right, it's not really a thing yet. Like
they talk about it a little bit.
Like Zarbadon mentions it, but it hasn't, because like Iridium hasn't really been harvested yet, so it makes sense.
Yeah, Iridium.
Yeah, that's
Iridium.
Instead of using Iridium to buy stuff at the black market, using Moonstones.
Yeah, using Moonstones.
The black market functions identically.
I felt that like the Moonstones were way too easy to acquire.
Well, I agree with that, but I think it's balanced out because you use them for more things.
Use them for mock sales, use them for Moonstone crates, and use them for the upgrades. I feel like I had my upgrades like before halfway through the game.
Yeah, definitely. You get the upgrades really fast. And use them for the grinder.
And the grinder, yeah.
Let's talk about the grinder.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you can talk about the grinder because I've talked a lot.
Okay. So, in the main, pretty much like the new form of Sanctuary, it's called Concordia, you have all these shops, and one of the characters, Janie Springs, she runs the new Moon Zoomy Station, which is pretty much the catch a ride on Elpis. In her workshop, there is a Dow grinder. Dow again. And what you can do is you can take 3 equipment pieces, like you can take 3 shields, you can take 3 grenades, 3 O2 kits. I'll talk about O2 kits in a bit. 3 guns of the same type. Do they have to be the same type? I don't know. Or at least
I know for the legendary recipe, which is 2 legendaries and a purple grade, they don't need to be the same type.
Yeah.
But I think for everything else they do.
Yeah, so you could take 3 things and grind them together and get a new equipment of that thing. So if you put in 3 snipers, you're going to get a new sniper. And what you can do is you can choose to grind in Moonstones as well, and what that does is it increases the rarity of, like, so let's say you put in 3 blue snipers. They all have to be the same rarity, I think. You put in 3 blue snipers, you grind it with Moonstones, and you're more than likely to get a purple sniper with similar abilities.
And also you get a possibility to get Moonshine.
And what that is, like, special effects, like 1 pierces enemy shield.
Or it'd be like 3% added to your maximum shield, or like magazine, or like Oz reduction.
Right. And like Joe said, if you have 2 legendaries that you really don't care for, you can...
Or low-level legendaries that you just don't want. You can use the 2 legendaries, and you can use any purple,
and
you'll get a legendary of that purple at the level of the purple.
So if you put in 2 legendaries and a purple pistol, you're going to get a legendary pistol back.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool, because I've had like maybe 15 thingies. The thingies is the type of rocket launcher, and I made a legendary pistol, a legendary assault rifle, which I hated the assault rifle, so I used that to make a legendary shotgun, which is not the flacker.
The thing is, though, we don't think it works for grenades, and also you cannot grind 3 purple items together.
Yeah, 3 purple items you can't do, because obviously that would make a legendary if you used Moonstones, and they don't want you to force feed legendaries too much. Even though you can now win legendaries from the slot machines, you can buy them from vending machines sometimes. And the rates are a lot better in this game.
Yeah, playing through the game normally, we actually found 2 bonus
packages, and
I think
something else.
I think it was... it was the OT kit, but we got that from the quest.
No, I got another drop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck. Oh, it was just the other day. Oh, the Texas Striker.
Who was that from?
I forget. I think it was from,
It's not important.
Deadlift.
Oh.
Or Red Belly. Maybe Red Belly.
Oh, and speaking of Deadlift, if you may remember, it just ended. There was a special Halloween event where...
Oh, speaking of Halloween event, now that it's over, people were kind of pissed that you could only get the Jackal Cannon at level 4, really, if you weren't playing on True Vault Hunter. So, Gearbox is releasing a code that from now until November 30th will give you a Jackal Cannon of your level. So, if you wait till level 50, you can put in a code and you'll get a level 50 Jackal Cannon, which is awesome, because that means that you can shoot pumpkins at people at any level you want.
That's pretty awesome. Okay, so, back to that,
Now, move on to the Oz kids, because the Jackal Cannon does run that.
Well, we're going to talk about, like, holiday.
Oh, okay.
What that was is it was just an event, really. It wasn't a DLC or anything. It wasn't a patch. You didn't have to download anything. It kind of sort of just happened.
I mean, they did it last year too. They did it a few times.
Just like happening.
They did the Vermivorous dropping the Norfleet at higher rates.
Well, yeah, at higher rates. That's not a whole new gun. Like the Jack Cannon, I don't think you could have gotten.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Anywhere else.
So it shows that they can add in content now without. I mean, they've always been able to patch things, so I guess they have the ability.
So
to
I
add
think,
in also.
I think the interesting part of that is that they're now seem to be a bit more willing to do it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think
which is interesting. So which means we'll probably get something Christmassy.
Which is better than the way they fucking did the Headhunter DLCs, because those were pretty much terrible.
Yeah, they were.
But yeah, moving on to O2 Kits. O2 Kits is a new feature in the game. Obviously, you're on the moon. You have an oxygen meter also, which I thought was going to be really fucking annoying, but it turns out
it's pretty.
It's not annoying at all. There's plenty of places where you're inside.
You never really run out of oxygen unless you're abusing it.
Yeah, unless you're abusing it, or you have a O2 kit that uses oxygen to shoot.
Sort of like an amplify shield.
Yeah, there's amp ones. There's things that have different effects whether you're in a vacuum or not. But
some give you special.
But there's so many like little cracks in the ground that fill up your oxygen, and they drop a lot of like oxygen potions.
There's little nodes that you can power on.
It's kind of just like something that you don't pay attention to as much as I thought you would.
And some areas are just completely in atmosphere. You have no way to run out of oxygen.
And you can revive with oxygen, and also
it's faster.
Yeah, it's faster. And now you could slam attacks. When you use it, you can use oxygen to like kind of like propel yourself up a little bit and kind of like hover. But you could crouch in air to form.
You sort of like do like a Mario ground pound.
Yeah, you do like a ground pound type thing. And that could be elemental based on your O2 kit.
And then you can augment it based on your character skills. Like for example, my Athena build, she has an ability where if I slam and hit an enemy with it, it'll create like an electric charge between the two of us. And if I remain eye contact, doing 8 minutes. If I remain eye contact with that enemy, after 3 seconds, or if they die, they'll just explode. It's hilarious.
And the O2 kits do various number of things. Like they'll add on to like your health, or they'll add like 0.15% gun damage per O2, which when you think about it, like it seems like such a little because it's like 0.15%.
It's such a small thing.
But that means that like for every 100 O2, that's another like what? Times 10 would be 1.15%. So yeah, that's another 15% if you have just 100 O2.
And breaking 100 is not hard at all.
Yeah, no, mine has 158.
I think mine is 140-ish.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Alright, so tell me, what was the most difficult part of Borderlands The Presequel for you?
Well, that's something that when we were playing through the main story, we never really had that much of a problem with it.
RK5 was fucking hard.
Yeah.
For our characters, anyway.
Yeah, because Nisha and Athena really don't have too much synergy together. Because, like, we played Maya and Zero last time, and they worked really well together. And Borderlands 1, I really joined too late to really make an impact on anything.
Yeah, Borderlands 1, you joined right when I was already up to, like, the path where you fight all the Guardians, so you were pretty late.
Yeah, so we couldn't really, like, discover anything about how our characters mingle together. But we felt that, like, we didn't really work together too well.
And that wasn't, like, just an us thing. It was more like the characters just didn't have that flux and flow. And I felt like while we were playing it, we were kind of, like, distancing ourselves while we were playing it.
Right, we would go off.
Because there would be points, not just, like, points where we were separating and, like, you go one way and I'll go another thing just to, like, cover ground. But I feel like us, like, in actuality, like, we weren't talking as much as we did during
No, not at all.
Like, we just weren't, like, collectively getting along, like, as much as we were during other games. And I feel like that was, like, part of our character between, like...
Because we didn't really...
Because we didn't really work together too well with Nisha and Athena. Because Athena's kind of like a bulky melee character, and, like...
Right.
She has pretty good, like, tanking ability.
And she can get up in your face,
And, like, Nisha's kind of, like, the same way, even though, like... I don't know. I seemed like I was always out of ammo, and I was always trying to pick up ammo, but, like... I don't know. I just didn't feel right playing with Nisha and Athena
as a team. Like, they work fine, Like, we got through the game with few problems.
As far as the hardest boss, including the Invincible boss, because I didn't think the Invincible boss was that hard.
I was actually a little disappointed by the Invincible
But
boss.
we were really overloaded.
No, even just what the Invincible boss was.
Yeah, the Invincible boss is just the final boss, but it's because Tina walked in.
That's a good point.
Tina walked in as you were fighting the last boss, kind of.
Right.
So then, like, she was the one that made up the story for the Invincible boss. So she kind of walked in, like, halfway through that fight.
Right.
So that's kind of
oh,
why.
wow,
like,
that's cool. I want to see that again.
yeah, like, so she's kind of just like, oh, go fight this bad boy. And, like, she's kind of like, bunkers and badassing it a little bit. So that's why the final boss and the raid boss are the same.
Right.
But, obviously the Invincible boss is a little bit tougher. But, no, I think overall the hardest boss in the game was RK5.
That was
the fucking plane.
Jet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing was annoying just because it was so hard to hit.
So hard to hit. It would
there were
like,
a lot
go
of
off
times where it
screen
would go off
and,
the
like,
map.
dumb guardians and like Dow soldiers everywhere. And, like, a lot of people say just hide in the shed, the elevator shed. That
That did
doesn't
not
really work.
The Guardians don't.
Yeah, the guardians.
The
come in
Guardians
there,
don't care.
and they're just like, hey, we're gonna come in here. We're gonna fucking kill you anyway.
Oh, what's that? You're too confined to move. Slash.
Yeah. I think that was the hardest boss for us.
Definitely.
I think the worst moment was pretty much all the fail moments where like we would jump off the fucking cliffs.
Yeah, you're gonna that a lot.
You're gonna die a lot. Getting money is harder in this game.
Oh, definitely.
I feel
I've
like
actually run out of money.
I feel
couple
like
times.
by now in Borderlands 2, like beating True Vault, we
we
would
had
have been
millions.
millionaires. Yeah.
I
haven't
actually
even gotten a quarter of the way to $1 million yet, and like we played a lot. We've played a decent amount of time now.
like there was actually a gun. I think it's actually a grenade that I wanted to buy, but I could not afford. I was like, "What is this? What is this source for?"
Yeah,
this never happened to me before.
I don't think that's ever. And like Borderlands 1, the money format was completely different. Like $1 million is nothing in that game,
right?
And like you have to have hundreds of millions. And in this game, like $1 million, you're fine. But yeah, no, Borderlands The Presequel, million's not fine because it's hard to get up there. I know it's like easier later game once you get into like Ultimate Vault, you got nothing to spend it on, like you'll get money quickly.
Yeah.
But Ultimate Vault's not in the game yet, by the way. But we know it's gonna come out anyway. But
It always does.
wrapping up. I don't wear watches. Wrapping up. Final words. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate Borderlands The Presequel?
I would rate it an 8.5. It does a very good job connecting the two together, but I don't really know how it could stand on its own.
See, I would rate it an 8 because it did a great job connecting the two games, like you said. It did a great job hyping up Borderlands 3, but I felt like the story mode was short.
Yeah.
A lot of the character narratives were a little bit weird. I hated the fact that, like, if you were trying to listen to audio and, like, you picked up a quest, it would completely jump over the other audio. And I didn't do that in Borderlands 2, and it bothered me a lot.
Just waited.
And I feel that legendary guns aren't really that hard to obtain anymore.
Yeah.
I'm happy, like...
Because, like we said, when through our normal playthrough, we got 2 bonus packages.
Yeah. There's a lot of things I like about this game.
Yeah.
There's not very many things I dislike about this game. So that's a good thing for the game. I think it was well written. I think it was well choreographed. And
like I said,
I like the fact that they kind of spoil Handsome Jack's doppelganger in-game.
Yeah.
Like, there's a part where, like, his doppelganger...
Oh, we didn't talk about the doppelganger.
We don't really know enough about the doppelganger to talk about it yet.
Well, we could talk about...
I mean, I talked that it's coming out November 11th.
We could talk about people complaining about it and why we think that's stupid.
No, we don't really have to talk about that.
Okay.
That's just really, like, subjective.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I like the game a lot, and
I liked it as well.
I thought it flowed pretty well. This is the first game where I couldn't really decide, out of all the Borderlands, where I couldn't really decide what character I wanted to play with, and I'm gonna have to play with them all, I think.
I was pretty set on picking Athena, but Joe, I remember
because I wanted to pick Athena, and Jay kind of went and picked Athena, so I couldn't pick Athena because I don't want to play with the same character.
Because we tried that in Borderlands 1, we both picked Lilith to start, and it did not work.
Well, I picked Mordecai first.
Well, when we
were playing together, we were playing Lilith. Yeah.
And it didn't really work too well, and then I kind of got turned off for a little bit.
Also, in this game, we find out why Jack is so hard set on killing Lilith.
Yes, he wants revenge.
Yeah, he wants revenge for her fucking punching him in the face and double crossing him.
And almost killing him.
Yeah, that's all, guys. I want to just say thanks for watching, as always.
That's all, folks.
Thanks, now we're going to get copyrighted.
Yeah.
You're an asshole sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so he's dead. So, yeah, I just uploaded 2 videos of me playing The Legend of Korra from Twitch. Unfortunately, there was an audio error and the audio didn't show up. You can check that out. I put it up on YouTube. Also, if you want to follow us, I'll include the links in the description below because there's a lot to say and I always fuck them up. But yeah, Instagram.com/BigSharkGaming, Facebook.com/BigSharkGaming, BS-Gaming.tumblr.com, Twitch.tv/BigSharkGaming, and Facebook. I said that already.
Facebook.com/BigSharkGaming.
I already said it. Yeah, so we have 5 sites, including this one. We're getting up there, and I want to say thank you guys for your continued love and support. We have been gaining followers by the day, and it's a great thing. Our YouTube is kind of small still. I would like to really start using this a little bit more. I might just start doing like random vlogs on it. Not necessarily about gaming, but kind of about like my life and like Jay's life every now and then. I don't know yet, but yeah. So Flashback Friday this Friday, Pokemon Corner tomorrow,
Monster of the Week on Thursday,
Daily Smash, and also that's it.
a review for the Hoenn demo is coming up soon.
Oh yeah, a review for the Hoenn demo is coming up soon, and Jay's very subjective about that. He's gonna get a lot of flack.
Of course I am.
But yeah, I started playing Fantasy Life, so there'll be a review for that. And also, I want to address the fact of why I didn't do Dead Man Wonderland's review. I'll talk about that in a text post later on today, I think. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and as always, we love you, and yeah, that's it. Thanks for being little sharkies.
Thanks for watching. And I'm Schnoz.
Oh yeah, this is Schnoz, Resident Penguin, as always. Bye, guys.